My name's Colton.
I'm Ethan.
And this is Coup de Guy. This is the 2016 Chevrolet Corvette Z06. So here's what the key for the 2015-2016 Z06 looks like. Lock, unlock. Here's your remote start, panic, and hold that down, obviously the trunk opens. It's got the Chevrolet Corvette emblem on the back and made in Germany. So as we get in the cockpit here, which is a little tight, but not horrible, lights up, says Corvette on it. They've ingenuitively put a key fob holder here. You just slide it in. It's kind of hard to find, but you slide it in there and it's not bouncing around the cabin. Put your foot on the brake, engine start stop button. Your tachometer, speedometer, all the different heads-up displays show up. So first complaint about the car is the memory seat features, like, sometimes choose to work, sometimes don't. I should be able to just press 2 and it do its thing. Well, it doesn't. So what you have to do is the life hack here. You move the seat forward a little bit. It's telling me the passenger seat belt's not buckled. Thank you, we're not even moving yet. Move the seat forward, then press 2. Then all of a sudden it decides it remembers what the memory function was all about. So that's the first complaint. But anyway, as you put it into reverse, backup camera shows up. We'll back it out of the garage here. As you turn the wheel, the lines move. There is no backup beeper. There's no, boop, 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 boop. But they do provide you with a camera. So, better than nothing, obviously, especially for an expensive car. So the other alternative to starting this car is to not use the remote start, and you just put your foot on the brake, tap the button once. So once you've completed backing up, when you put it into drive for the first time, you have this front view camera, which is super handy if you're parking the car. You can engage it. I'll show you how to do that in a little bit, but it shows your distance from the front face of the car from objects that are low to the ground, which, since the car is low to the ground, one of those parking concrete blocks can really ruin your day. So that is a really handy feature there that they've incorporated. You can park frontways in a space and not take off the nose of your car. Now, one of the things I was telling about last evening when we took it for a short spin was how useful this is for parking frontways. I said it's on when you put the car in drive for the first time. Now, you may be saying, well, what happens after you've been driving? How do you get it to come back on? I'll show you. Once you hit 5 miles an hour, it turns off. So say now you've pulled into a parking lot, and you're like, oh, my camera's off because I've been driving at road speed. I want to park frontwards. Put it in reverse, you engage the rear view camera, then you put it back in drive, and the front view camera is on until, again, you hit 5 miles per hour. Your radio control here. You can switch Sirius XM. Your home button, of course. Phone. You can obviously control the brightness of your display. And then I will show you in just a few moments the heads-up display. So here's the HUD. We can switch the vertical position of it, although sadly not the horizontal. You can change the info displayed. I like this one personally, and you can change the brightness of the HUD. It's very minute, but it does make a difference when it's actually night, and you can see in relation to the vehicle where it's displayed. The gauges in the console are fully customizable, and we'll go into that in some more detail tomorrow. So the climate control settings are adjusted by the knob here. Passenger and driver separate controls, making mine colder, obviously. The passenger function is obviously on the passenger side. Set at 70 degrees. Heated and ventilated seats. Those are activated either on the console in the passenger or for the driver or passenger. Down here, I'm going to turn my cooled seat on. 3 bars indicates high speed. You have auto mode. Press sync to sync the passenger and driver sides together. You can override auto and manually control fan speed. And that's the little display that comes up as you adjust. I'll show you the voice free feature just for fun while I have it. Press the talking man.
Command, please.
Call home.
Who would you like to call?
Oh, that's embarrassing. Doesn't know who home is. Okay, I guess we're going to have to say a specific name. Call Ethan Cobb.
Pardon?
Wow. Okay, so, I mean, this is an honest-to-God review here, so we're having some trouble. Let's see if she'll cancel and start over.
Pardon?
Oh, she's still listening. Cancel.
Pardon?
Okay, so this is obviously very frustrating, so I'm going to see how I can go about getting out of this. Maybe I hit the... Oh, she said goodbye. Well, at least she's polite. Okay, let's try this one more time.
Command, please.
Call Ethan Cobb.
Ethan Cobb. Say mobile or home.
Mobile.
Calling Ethan Cobb on mobile.
Yeah, I think that's a good introduction to the car. The sun is setting on the evening here. Tomorrow we'll be back with a more in-depth review, but those are just kind of the highlights, you know, the things you'd look at every car when you went to the dealership and sat in it for the first time. Oh, one more thing, just by the way, the exhaust is brutal. More on that tomorrow. One thing we haven't shown off in the interior yet is the volume control for the radio. So hit radio just so you can make sure we're on a channel here. So they don't push. You want to push them, but Corvette is actually very smart of them. They make you pull them, so you always keep pressure on the wheel, so you can increase the volume.
Seduce me 'cause I do cherish.
It has an incredible Bose surround system that gets louder than you want it to. XM radio sounds a little digitally, but when you play something off Bluetooth, for instance, on your phone, it sounds great. Unfortunately, the song we got stuck with for this demonstration was also not a real great song. Sorry, Mark Wills, no offense. There is no handle in this vehicle to open the door. Instead, there is a button that electronically does it. just like so. And in the event of a crash or a power failure where there is no electronic button available, there is still a manual lever that you can pull and it'll get the door open. Located down here on the floor by your feet. The doors open from the outside also with the same electronic mechanism that they open from the inside. You just slide your hand here in the pocket, press the little button. The window moves down just as the door unlocks, and open and enter the cabin as usual. When you shut the door, you'll notice that slightly after the door shuts, just after it shuts, the window seals back up so the cabin's nice and sealed. Now one of the things is these are big doors. So you really got to slam the door. Not slam it, maybe, I guess that's the wrong word, but you got to give it a strong push, let's say. Otherwise, the cabin won't seal, which is a good thing, but it's also kind of funny that the trunk electronically seals down, but the doors, which you use far more often, are still kind of, you have to manually seal them with a good snug shove. So to open the trunk, there's two methods. On the remote, you can hold the button that says hold. Trunk opens. It's on hydraulics. Shut the trunk. You pull down, then just give it a slight, little firm push. The electronic motor takes over and seals it. The other option to open the trunk is to reach down here. There's a button. Same principle. This is the 2016 Chevrolet Corvette LT4 supercharged 6.2 liter V8, making 650 foot-pounds of torque and 650 horsepower. This is one of the two frontward-looking cameras that we demonstrated for parking. The other's located across the grille, the other side of the car. Alright, so we're going to try and give you a quick tour of what all the gauges will do. As you scroll down, it brings up a trip A menu, average fuel economy, and your distance. And of course a trip B, so you can time 2 trips at once. Fuel range and instant fuel economy. You'll notice right now the instant fuel economy says V8. When you switch into eco mode and you're driving, when you're at a comfortable cruising speed, that'll say V4. It'll shut down 4 cylinders to say fuel economy. As we scroll back down through our menu, we have oil life indicator, tire pressure monitoring system, fuel economy for the last 50 miles. Sometimes if you cycle right, it'll give you a sub-menu where we can check the last 400 miles. You'll see it changed. As we keep going down through the menu, fuel used for this trip, typically in our submenu here, we can reset. You can also has a timer mode. Oops, I hit right. We're going down. It'll show a speed limit if it knows what the speed limit is. Engine hours. This car currently only has 440 miles, 20 hours of engine time. And then, of course, back to the speedometer. So then we can hit left, go down to performance. It changes it to a tachometer, as you can see. On the left-hand side, we have our horsepower gauge. As you rev the engine, you can see the needle moves. On the right is the oil temperature. As we scroll down through the performance menu, G-force indicator, lateral Gs. In our next menu down on the performance mode, there's an accelerometer. Here's the accelerate to start performance timer. We'll attempt to play with this later. One of the complaints about this car I was hinting at earlier is it's almost too much car outside of the track. The 0 to 60 timer in this car is almost useless. I've never floored this car before, ever. And every time I try and get on at even half throttle in first, second, or third gear, the back tires start to come loose and the traction control comes on. So Chevrolet posts an official 0 to 60 time of 2.95 seconds, but for the life of me, I don't know how you'd ever do that. The car literally loses its grip even with these massive Michelin sport tires on here. As we go down, coolant temp, oil pressure, battery voltage, transmission fluid temperature, tire temperature, quote unquote warm. Don't exactly know what that means. There's no submenus to the left, to the right here. Electronic limited slip differential gives you your wheel slip percentages, and then back to the tach. If we go left, we can do an audio submenu. Tells you what channel you're on. Right now we're on XM. Zach Brown is playing. Phone menu tells you who you're talking to. All it says right now, since we're not talking to anyone, is my phone is connected. It gives me my signal bars and my battery. Nav. Since we're not have destination input, there's no route, but it does show kind of a heads up view up of where the car is pointed. And then there's a settings page. You can choose your units. You can choose your display theme. It's sport. We can change it to track. Let's see what this does for fun. Oh, wow. Okay, we got 0 to 60 times. The top lights, I'm sure there's going to be a shift indicator. Obviously, it's a bar tachometer instead of a circle tach. That's pretty cool. I actually haven't ever found this menu before. We'll try tour. It's just a simple kind of everyday driving sort of mode. We'll leave it in sport. That's kind of the common denominator. Oh, sorry. We're continuing down now. Let's look. Speed warning. Turned off. That's a good thing. Okay, here we can play with our pocket gauges. So on the, let's see how I do this. Edit gauges. So on the left, you can change what it displays. Your options are transmission temp, battery voltage, oil temp, oil pressure. You could leave it blank, or horsepower. On the right side, it's the same. So since the horsepower is on the left, we'll go ahead and use oil temp on the right. That's useful. Software information, and back to unit. So that is a run through of the Corvette central display system. In the bottom left-hand corner, I was looking at the left-hand corner. In the bottom right-hand corner, you have your supercharger information. As I give it a little bit of gas, you'll see it, the needle move. Fuel's in the top right-hand corner. The gear indicators here, as we pull it into reverse, it obviously says R, neutral, D for drive. It's got an 8-speed automatic transmission in it. So in drive mode, it selects the appropriate gear. You can downshift and upshift, but if it senses you're no longer giving it commands, it'll go back to selecting the appropriate gear. If you put it into manual mode, it tells you actually what gear you're in, and it is a complete manual system. The only thing it won't do is kill the engine. So you see I shift up here. From a still, it'll actually put it in second gear, but if I try and put it in third, it'll tell me the shift is denied, as you can see there. So it's manual, let's call it a smart manual. And then of course the speedometer is a manual speedometer over here on the left hand side.